Hey guys, we should be live. We have a pretty interesting docket today about buying a Bricks and Minifigs franchisee. There are 1, 2, 3, 4 here. Now they double posted one, and then there's a very interesting one here that we can talk about that's been in 10 years in business. So this would be in Utah. So this has got to be one of the first Bricks and Minifigs ever. So we'll go over it, talk about the good, the bad, a lot of interesting information coming out from this document. We also have shout out to BBQ. Thanks, Alex. We also have this from BBQ, and I think that's it. No, we're going to take a look at the price, how much money they make. Obviously, this is pre-Ben. So this is pre-Ben. So, okay, 100. Okay, thank you, Rose. We'll take a look at the bandmap.com. Okay, he has the 100 post. Yeah, we actually have that here. So we already have that to cover later on. The 100 post is every time he has contradicted himself. Our Bricks and Minifigs has contradicted himself. It seems like a lot of work. 465 times is the amount. Wow, that's a lot. Okay, contradictions on the record, everyone checkable. All right, so yeah, let's go ahead and let's see what buying a Bricks and Minifigs franchisee is like. So, founded in 2009, franchising since 2011. This is how much it costs to get a new Bricks and Minifigs operational. So I want you to remember the cost, okay? The cost is $300,000 minimal. So if you buy something for $300,000 and you work on it for a year, 2 years, we'll talk about exactly how long, and we'll look at the Facebook, we'll go into social media. Then what you're hoping to do is you're hoping to sell it for more than this, right? So I'm just taking the low end. Again, we're only taking the low end. The low end is $300,000. Now, this is based on 2025 data, reported in 2026 FDD. So, you got $40,000. That sounds about right. $30,000 transfer fee. So, in addition to whatever you pay here, I would also have to pay a $30,000 transfer fee straight to Bricks and Minifigs. So this is why a lot of people think this is franchise churning. They're not actually making money from selling Lego. They're making money from this because this number is so large. So when this guy buys his franchise, he pays $40,000, okay? And then if he wants to sell it, it almost reminds me of like what was it, NFTs? This is like almost identical to NFTs, right? So like Bebo does $1 million, which is all like fake stuff. Later turned out it was like a fake investor. But every time somebody sells the artwork, then the original artist gets a slice of it. This is kind of the same. Every time somebody sells it, Amin McNeff is $30,000 richer. And then this is, of course, the marketing fee, and there's also 3% local fee, not mentioned here. There are only 223 units. Out of that 223, 67 was open recently. Talking about 25, more than 25% of the units haven't been operational for more than a year. 6 units transfer, which is kind of rare. And then this is the average unit revenue. Okay, so let's go and let's explore. So this one is actually above average. So it makes $650,000. It has 100 to 150 in assets and cash flow. It was very recent, 2024. So that was like 2 years ago, depending on when it was in 2024. Actually, let's go take a look. Let's go one by one and to kind of examine each one of these things to see like if so they have an Instagram. Do they have a Facebook? They do. Okay, let's go into Facebook. So this is the Carl's Bad. This is the one on sale. They're still posting. Let's go here. Let's see when they started. Oh, you know what? It's less than 2 years. They started in November. It looks like they started in November sometime. Cat's Deli. Oh, they have a Cat's Deli here. The Lion King. Yeah, so they started in November. They might not have opened until later. I don't see the grand opening. I see a lot of construction. And they're already selling. So they've been open for a year and a half. Oh yeah, this is their grand opening was January 20. Oh, so okay. They opened in 2024. Okay, so they opened in January. Sorry, they opened January 2024. Okay, that's funny review. Let's take a look. So the 1-star review. Pretty cool place if you're looking to buy and this was before Reckless Ben. This was before MGS breaks. If you're looking to buy used and new Lego sets, however, a complete joke if you're looking to sell your sets. I brought in 8 sets total, all of which were disassembled, not missing any parts, neatly separated, bagged, and labeled. All had instructions, and 2 sets were unopened and had original packaging. Collectively, these sets cost me around $400 to $500. Of course, being used, I didn't expect to receive anything close to that, but guess how much I was offered? I was offered $20, bro. I was offered a trip to Taco Bell. I laughed and took everything and left. You're better off throwing all your Legos off the side of an I-5 instead of bringing them here. Dude that came in before me brought free complete sets that were assembled and got $250 cash. You mean to tell me that the value decreases that much for it being disassembled? It's because we have to pay for someone to rebuild them. Bro, they're Lego sets, not a rocket ship. 50% of your job should be assembling Legos. I'd rather just get punched in the face instead of the offer I received. I feel like I would be appreciated. I appreciated that more. Okay, update. After rebuilding all these sets, why would you ever go back? I mean, this is ludicrous. Oh, jeez. After rebuilding all the sets I bought from my first visit, I expected to surely receive a more generous offer. $73. I begged for $80. Literally got 4 trips for Taco Bell instead of 1. Also, I overheard one of the employees telling a couple of customers, our owner overheard you on the store cameras and would love to have you bring in your collection. So if you don't mind having someone listen. Oh yeah, this is interesting. This is kind of weird, right? When Amanda's like, hey guys, are you on the cameras? Are you on the cameras? So like the owner is like spying all the customers on the camera system all the time. Our owner overheard you on the store cameras and would love to have you bring in your collection. So if you don't mind having someone listening on your conversations and interactions and receiving dirt low offers for your stuff, this is the perfect place for you. Okay, so pretty bad review. Okay, so this is Carlsbad. If anyone wants to buy this, you're going to be out. You're going to be out $335. Remember, the minimal it cost, the low of the low, right, is $300,000. So they've been operating since January of 2024. So they've been in business for 2024, 2 years, 2.5 years. And they're just asking for their money back. They're only asking for their money back, and that's it. They're not going to get much. They're not going to get more than this. And that's if you don't negotiate with them. I'm sure they would take less. I mean, it's like buying a house, right? Like you post a house and you have a little wiggle room to negotiate. The market for this type of business right now is unfortunately not very high. Kind of like the housing market is down. The bricks and minifigs Lego market, I mean, it's probably the lowest it's ever been. I can't imagine the resale value of this as being like very good. I mean, this is kind of a fun store. It's very small. So compared to the bricks and minifigs, it is quite small. Prime location. Yeah, so, okay, I understand. So this is very unique. The reason this the reason this should be killing it, number one, is California. And number two, it's minutes away from Legoland. So this location should be absolutely one of the, like, what's it called? Staples. The fact that this location is minutes away from Legoland. I mean, where else could you do? Like, what else could you do? Like, Legoland. Yeah, Legoland is in Carlsbad. Yeah, it's right. Wait, did they say? Oh, that's what, one okay, Legoland. They said they were minutes away. What do they mean by that? Oh, this is me fucking walking. Okay. Okay. Yes, in California, there's traffic. They are minutes away, so it's correct. This is Legoland right here, and then this is them. It's a prime location, and then supposedly they have all this, like, according to Amin McNeff's map, they have like this entire thing locked down. So again, I think this thing is a prime location for Legos. But they're not making money. How do we know they're not making money? Well, if you were making money, you wouldn't be asking for this. This is basically your buyback. 300, again, I don't know. Maybe the store took $600,000. I'm being, like, incredibly generous in assuming each of these stores took $300,000 to make, which is on the lowest of the low ends. If this store, let's say it took $500,000 for them to build out, then they would be losing money. So after 2.5 years, they decide, you know what, this is not a good business. And actually, they tell you why they're leaving. Reason for selling. We are selling due to balancing full-time careers, so they have a full-time job alongside franchise ownership. While we are proud of what we built and fully believe in the strength of the business, we recognize, so they're selling because they need full-time jobs. California is really expensive. It is not again, they need full-time jobs. That's why they're trying to sell. Here's the ideal owner and so on. All right, so that's Carlsbad. We'll take a look at, so this is Carlsbad. They're still posting on social media today. I don't think anyone's going to buy that for $330,000 plus the $30,000 or $30,000 that goes straight to Amin McNeff. Now we'll take a look at this one. This one is way less. So, like, this one might not be a bad deal in comparison. So remember, the gross revenue here is $650. It's next to Legoland. That's amazing. That's pretty good. This one actually costs more. So this one's even more delusional. Their average gross revenue is actually less than average. Their annual gross revenue. Their cash flow is half. Their value of asset is half. And they were established around the same time, 2024. So this one is kind of a shitty place. I would not buy this one. If I had to buy one of the two, I think I would buy the California one. A, it's just straight up cheaper. And B, hey, hold on a second. Isn't this the one that a kid goes to? It is. Oh my God. Okay, let's play the video. Play the video. The North Raleigh one, that is the one he goes to. Hold on. I'm pretty sure that's the store.
Here they are. To the tree.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see the outside of the store.
I'm with him. Was there like a gold one in there? A C-3PO?
That's crazy. I hope not.
136. 136. No wonder they want to sell. Holy fuck. Oh, it is the one. Oh my God. Whoa, guys. Holy moly. This is the legendary Bricks and Minifig. I'm so excited now. This is it. This is the legendary Bricks and Minifigs where they will try to steal your thing. It's on sale. Guys, it's 136. It is them. It is them. Oh my God. Like, holy moly. Like, okay, let's make sure that before we So there's like tactical mortgage, a relaxed a tuna spa. Okay, whatever.
Cover for me at this spot.
Okay, where? Okay.
No, that's great.
Look at the columns. 136.
That's
136 with something on top. 136 with something on top. This is the place. Holy moly, they're on sale right now, and they want a shit ton of money. Like, dude, you have the one in California. They want less money than you. They make double your money. Their revenue is like 200,000 over you. Like, we'll just like, dude, you're not gonna sell no one. This bricks and minifigs is the bricks of minifigs out of fucking Legend, man. This is the, not only did they lowball you, okay, that's bad enough. They will also steal your fucking Lego. Oh my god, that's them. They were only open in 2024. Oh my god, it's them. They're on sale. Okay, so they're doing construction. They're recent. They gotta be recent, right? When's the grand open? Oh, here. Now open May 4th. They've only been in business for 2 years. So they've been in business less than California. California is making a shit ton more money. And they're next to Legoland, which is really good. And they control that whole area. This is like a whole, like this here, what I'm showing you right here, which is like very low, this is very bad, is this Lego store. We've ID'd it. It is the North Raleigh Lego store. And now let's see what happens, guys.
That's crazy.
Well, Bill, yeah, that is correct. South California, more taxes, 350,000 maybe not great. Yeah, there's the relaxed parlor. That's the relaxed tuna salon. Guys, this is it.
These steal things? That's crazy. I hope not. That'd be mad. That'd be bad, bro. Dang it.
Dude, I don't think it's in here. I think they might have... Dude, they might have took it. Dude, there's no way. It's not... Dude, it's not in there. Bro, it's not in there. Wait, I swear I put it in there.
I thought I saw it.
It's not in there. It's not in there?
I don't think so. Nah,
Dude, it's not... Dude. Did they take it? Did they just steal?
Did they just steal?
Yes, thank you, Rose. The Relaxed Tuna Salon, LLC.
Steal things, dude?
Oh my... Okay, let's go confront them.
Wait, hold on, bro.
No.
No way.
No way!
Yeah, let's just say we're just like...
So the owners decided to sell probably right after this video. Remember, they took down the video. The guy had like a heart attack. Remember, like the guy had like a heart attack or something?
But this is the video.
Yeah.
Hold on, bro. You do the talking now.
This is his local store. So let me re-emphasize. This is the store that he goes shopping to all the time, that he makes videos about. Like, he was a Bricks and Minifigs fan until this happened to him.
I found your family with a Lego form. Here they are. To the tree.
I'm with him. Was there like a gold one in there? A C3PO?
Oh shoot, I'm sorry, yeah. That one's fake, by the way.
Thank you.
Oh, it is?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, feel it. Is how light it is.
Wow. For the low price of $360,000 plus $30,000 that you pay Ahmed McNeff and $6,000 in rent, you can own the legendary Bricks and Minifigs store. Man, we must advertise this store like crazy. We must be like, come on, like we play this video like once every week at least. So we will give you infinite advertising for your store in the Northern Raleigh region. Wow, that is the same store. I never thought, and it's new. Now let's dig into information here. Let's see what they give us. It's light on asset, light on cash flow. It's really not making all that much money, right? Okay, gross revenue, $900,000 in less than 2 years, 32 square feet. Northern Raleigh, Wake Forest, that's their exclusive territory. Buy, sell, diverse margins, sales, bulk, substantial inventory, turnkey, oh, you also get this guy. Okay, the main benefit of owning this store is you get the expert. You get this guy. He comes with the store. Like, he comes with the store. I'm not joking. So when you buy this store, you get to, he becomes your employee. And you can tell him to steal some stuff for you. And he'll do it. Oh, here. What reason for selling? The current owners are deeply passionate about the business and have built a strong, loyal community, following up with impressive early growth. However, they are now pursuing other personal and professional opportunities that require more time and focus. This creates an ideal, motivated handover to the right buyer, someone ready to take this proof. No. I think, again, you can't expect them to be, wow. Okay, that's interesting. This is a lie. You're not selling because of that. You're selling because, you got caught. You got caught stealing to like a million plus people. And then you try to remove the video, and this aide's like, fine one, yeah. Look at him go.
See the arms?
Yeah.
That's not normal.
So we also get this really highly trained employee who's definitely not going to steal from us. And certainly he has expertise in Lego and knows exactly what a $1,000 Lego looks like. So I didn't realize the reason this is so much more expensive is we get this guy here. I mean, what is better than buying Lego for 6%? What if you just straight up steal the Lego? This guy is an infinite money glitch, right? Infinite money glitch. And then he'll lie about it. So very interesting. Okay, that's North Raleigh. That is for sale. If anyone wants to buy it, I'm sure that they are willing. They also get their Lego drop many days late, 3 days late. I like how they said August 1st drop. So it's like they know that it's August 1st. Many stores just say it is the August drop, but they said it was the August 1st drop, indicating that they are not very happy with bricks and minifigs. So I don't know, if they're going to reduce. It probably will. I'm tired. I didn't get much sleep last night. Oh, it was a long day. It was a long day last night. Long day yesterday of shopping and birthday stuff. And then, my neighbors woke me up at 7 with lawn mowing. So I'm a little, under the weather. And my wife is sick. Oh, man. Okay, so anyway, very interesting stuff. So if you too want to own this, you too want to employ Lego experts like this man here, you now have the opportunity to be his boss. For the low price of almost $400,000, because you got to pay Almond and McNeff a chunk off the top, you too can own a amazing franchise making $50,000 a year. Terrible. Okay, the more I learn about this, the worse it gets. I no idea that was North Raleigh. I'm as shocked as all of you guys that is that Lego store. But it's for sale. 2 years in, the owner is like, oh, this sucks. I want to get out. Same as this. 2024. Yes, 2024. All right, let's take a look at one that is a little older. 2023. This is making so little money. Like I said, look at this one. Okay, so you thought North Raleigh was bad. Let me introduce you to Tacoma, California. And this Billy's saying, oh, California. Okay, Billy, look at this. I know Billy's in chat. What did Goosey say? going to go in debt to buy this store and only sell Goose Lego. Oh, okay. No, okay. It only gets worse from here, guys. It only gets worse. I promise you. I've looked at these. The cash flow is so low, they won't even tell you what it is. And we know you're only making $300,000 gross. This is a failed. This is after 3 years. Whatever you can say about Rally, and Rally literally stealing people's Legos, they're still making, let's always take the low end. I think that's fair. Whenever you're doing this type of business, you always take the low end. They're making maybe 50K, right? 50K. The car's bad one, which is in a good location, is making about 100K, which is basically your salary. So you get 100K salary, you get 50K salary, and then you get zero. You get zero. Look at the revenue. It is way, way lower than the other revenues we've seen. This is 300 compared to 650 and 460. I mean, it is substantially lower than anything. And the price they're selling at is like peanuts. So basically, the minimal it takes to make one of these stores is $300,000 to get it off the ground. These guys have been in business for 3 years, 4 years, and they're willing to take a loss, a massive loss. So it costs at least $300,000 up to $600,000 to start a business, and then they're going to it is really, really bad. This has to be one of the worst bricks and minifig stores we've ever seen. Yeah, it has no followers. It has 580. This has got one of the lowest followers count. It didn't even post about August. They just gave up. Look, they posted about their new August 1st. They didn't receive it, and they didn't repost. And Christina says, just close already. This is the saddest of the bunch, guys. They're not making any money. There's no cash flow. They're barely posting anymore. The last time they didn't even have an update. They may, to be honest with you, they may not even have their Lego sets. Right? So this one is like the low of the low. Like this one is like low of low. Low of lows. Let's see what's happening. Okay, they want to have we're searching for the perfect location. Well, that was not it. Takama was not a good location. We're overwhelmed with the positive response. Okay. When is their grand opening? Here, this is their location. Okay, so they found a location in July. They started hiring in July. And their grand opening September. So almost 3 years. Almost 3 years. A little less than 3 years. And they're selling. And we actually don't know how long they've been selling. But we do know that this is not making any money. So whenever you see this, cash flow, and then they won't the other two will tell you what the cash flow is. Yikes. And then, so two red flags here, 3 red flags. You're in California. You're making less than half what the other California one is making. You're offering it for the low price of only $235,000. Which again, remember, the range, the low end of the range, we're always going to take the low end for this exercise. So it costs you $300,000 to build your store. It costs you 3 years of your life, and you're just going to fire sell it for a loss if it's successful? No way. No way. And you won't even tell you how much money it makes, and the revenue is really, really low. That is some low-ass revenue here. Man, like, you would be way better off just having an online store at 300. These numbers. Billy says, we just hit 350 yearly rev last month in a 1,200 square foot store in a town of 30,000. What are these people doing? You can't blame BAM Corp. Yeah, they're in California, so that's different from Ohio, you know. So Billy has been able to do 350 last year. Oh, thank you so much, Dream Signals, for the 5 gifted memberships. And thanks, Billy. So, well, I was actually looking at the Reddit, and they say, like, we can use the Wayback Machine to see if, like, they change their prices. But yeah, so, I mean, yeah, Billy does better numbers here. And more importantly, Billy doesn't need to, he didn't need to pay $300,000 of debt and then $40,000 to Almond McNabb, right? Yeah, thank you so much, Dream Signals. So Billy is in a way better position than this store because he's making more gross revenue, and B, he doesn't have all this debt. Remember, all this debt is like crazy stuff because you have $300,000 of debt. Like you're 100% are taking a loss. Oh, okay, Rose. Should I look at the message right now or should I look at it later? Is it a message I want to look at right now, or is it a message I want to look at later? Is this a magic card? It is a magic card. Okay, this is a magic card. You know what would be funny? If we just made a bunch of AI magic cards of like all the characters. Guys, let's do it. Oh my god. You know we were watching that AI. Okay, I just had the best idea ever. Okay, thank you, Rose, for that idea. Okay, I had the best idea ever. You know how we were watching that AI video? The really funny video where BBQ is overweight? According to BBQ. What was that? What was that video called? It was some type of AI video we were watching, like, against Reckless Ben AI. It was like... I, of course, was in the Reckless Ben video. Oh, yeah, this is the funny thing. Okay, so this is my short that Alex made me. Ben, you were abused as a child by your Uncle Ben. Let go your hatred for bricks and minifigs. You've already been arrested multiple times. Multiple convictions. I would love, like, a short little, like, short where it's, like, this image, like, where, like, it's Almond McNabb. Ben, let go of your hate. Something like that. Yeah, multiverse of madness. That was it. That was correct. Thank you, Ristic Siphon. Ben, I'm a psychology major from BYU. I understand your pain. You were abused as a child by Benjamin Steiner from Ohio. Not that any of this is funny. Obviously, I'm not saying child abuse is funny. I'm just saying, like, this is basically Almond McNabb. Every time... Yeah, he's 5 steps ahead. Okay, you guys watch that and then like it. Like, he's in that, like, little thing, like, talking about being 5 steps ahead. Like, yeah. He's 5 steps ahead. I think about this image from this actor who's, like, again, he's Charles Xavier. He's not this Charles Xavier. Patrick, oh, God, I forgot his name already. But he's this one. The one that I see in more recent movies. Yeah, oh, my God, that's funny. Oh, that was so funny. Shout out to Alex for making that. That was very funny. Oh, wow, that is loud. Okay, yeah. Why don't we make, like Pokemon or Magic cards of everybody? And then we would, like, you know, like, I think that would be cool. That would be cool. We could, like, make AI stuff. Probably the only real use for AI is, like, to make Pokemon cards. All right. Now, let's move on. So we found out this one is not successful in any, oh my god, it's like, it's not going to work. It has no social media. It doesn't even have 1,000. They're barely updating their stuff. People are saying just close already. They're not making any money. Things are getting really, really bad down in Tacoma. Like, really bad down there. So let's take a look at the last one here. And I have a very interesting one to tell you about. 10 years, and they want to basically lose money. So this one is going to lose money. This one's going to lose money. Let's go take a look. So this one is even older. And its annual gross revenue is $350,000. I don't believe their cash flow is this. Their assets are very little. There's no way that a third of their gross revenue is cash flow based on what we know about Toy House and Bricks and Minifigs. But nonetheless, maybe they have low overhead. Maybe it's the owner. But they are going to take a bloodbath on this as well. So they are located in Johns Creek, Georgia. Let's give them a look. They were established in 2021. So they are older. They are older than the other three we looked at, which is interesting. That's them. Okay, let's take a look. They have almost 1,000 followers. They're going back to school, so they're updating. It's not frequently, but they are updating. Lloyd DX. I think that is a very expensive figure. From what I know, I think this is a very expensive figure. So let's see what they are doing. Retail rent is $4,500. Reason for selling. Current ownership would like to pursue other business ventures. This store is in excellent operational shape, making this a smooth transition for my new owner. Okay, interesting stuff. Let's take a look at the other. They were so desperate to sell, they actually listed themselves twice. Oh, look, the numbers are different. Oh my God. They've been lying to us. Wow, well, hold on. Hold on, this is the same place. Johns Creek, Georgia. There's not, like, there couldn't be two of them. Oh, no. Oh, no, we've been lied to, guys. It is so bad. Oh, hold on a second. Maybe one of them is a earlier listing, and they forgot to delete it. Okay, I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to click on this one, and I'm going to... Let me click on it. Okay, this is very interesting. So... let's splice the thing. Let's go. Let's compare it. This is the same franchise, by the way. So yeah, gross revenue seems very good. Cash flow. Okay, so I think they were lying here. There's no way that your gross revenue is 352 and your cash flow is not like 50, right? Again, I think this is a lie here. And then the rent somehow went down $1,000 a month. It's a little sketchy. You know it's the same business, but the rent went down $1,000 a month. About the business, they have some photos. This one is way more. Marketing remains its biggest upside. Growth comes largely from organic social media. Large families, the franchise flippers. Okay, so they have a lot. Well, so okay, did they actually name reason for selling? Pursuing other endeavors. Okay, interesting. Very interesting stuff. Okay, now I will show you the most important of them all. The Big Baby franchise. This one will blow your mind. Okay, so we've seen a lot of stuff. This one was opened in 2016. This one is 10 years old and they're selling for less money. Their cash flow is less than $100,000. Gross revenue. Like, look, if you can't make it work in 2 years, okay, whatever, right? But if you can't make it work after 10 years and you're selling at a massive loss, let me do the calculation for you. So this is the asking price, and then you have to minus the real estate because the real estate is like, it's different. What the hell? Where's the key? Where's the keyboard? Oh, so this is a 10-year Bricks and Minifigs. 10 years they had this store, and they're going to sell it for at least half off. This is the most interesting one of all, guys. Because if the real estate is right, if the real estate is worth 1.25, and we'll talk about this later, then why would you sell it for only this amount of money? Right? Because you paid more to get in. And you're only making $95,000, which is, I think, is very high. Your gross, based on your gross revenue. You get actually two places. So this is the real estate here. They actually bought the real estate. They have a main floor and a finished bathroom. Oh no, finished basement. They have a lot of territory because they're old. This is 10 years ago. The real estate is valued at 1.25. Inventory, they have very low inventory. They have a lot of employees. So like this one is far more detailed. So this website requires more detail. And I think that's why it's so interesting to look. It's like the question is, how many employees does a Bricks and Minifigs have? The answer is free full-time, free part-time. Their staff wages have to be very high. Like very high. Strong manager and experienced staff. And they have they own their property, which is interesting, of course. So out of the 5 Bricks and Minifigs, they're the only one who owns their property, so they're not paying rent. And it's a pretty sizable property, but they are staffed very, very well with very little inventory. So how do you have free full-time, free part-time employees, and you only have 55,000 in inventory? That's weird. Billy says this family also owns free franchises in Utah, so I wonder if they are also selling. That's interesting. I did not know that. So the reason for selling, I've been doing it for 10 years, and I am ready for a change for my family. All territory in the Wausau region are taken. Expansion to additional territories would have to be out of state or through acquisition. Yeah, so the business is valued. Okay, so this is the business is valued at $185,000, which includes an estimated $30K and franchise. So he's included that, and $55K in inventory. Wow. Okay, super interesting stuff. Now we'll take a look at this one. This was in South. This one is in Utah. Okay, here we go. Let's take a look at their Facebook page. That is that 58% recommend. Okay. Yeah, like I said, one afternoon, one community, 100 students impacted. They have their back to school. They don't even talk about August 1st. Okay, so, yeah, again, very interesting stuff. Like, a lot of these, they don't even have, like, a cover sheet. Like, it's very lazy work, but, okay. So, anyway, that's kind of what I wanted to show you. Now we're off to BBQ. I can take something to drink. Yeah, these Bricks and Minifigs are for sale. So if any of you guys are interested, you can hit them up, and you can definitely, like, if I had to pick, I would pick the one near Legoland. That one has the best revenue by far, and it's next to Legoland. Like, we couldn't ask for a better location. I mean, literally, people are coming from around the world, and we have, like, a territory, right, where, like, no one can, like, no other Bricks and Minifigs can, like, jump our territory. And it's actually reasonably priced. The North Rally is probably the worst one. They steal people's Legos. Just gross. Like, once you have that reputation for stealing people's Legos, it's you're pretty much dead on arrival. There's not much you can do.
A bombshell has just dropped in the Reckless Ben case. New facts contained in a Keyser police report on Keyser's investigation of the entire Brian Mansell and Bricks and Minifigs
issue. Stop. I even know it's called Kaiser. I mispronounce everything, but I know it's called Kaiser. So it's funny. It's funny seeing BBQ in the comments saying, "Oh, I don't know," because he should just not care about, just like me.
Issue has just been made public. That report contains statements from Brandon Best as well as former employees of the Salem, Oregon store, alleging that attempts were made to conceal Brian Mansell's collection by, among other things, removing the stickers that showed which sets belonged to Brian. This police report is chock full of crazy admissions, and we're going to get into it in today's video. As a reminder, I am a civil litigator. I have been practicing law for over 15 years. I have an active legal practice.
Is BBQ live streaming tomorrow? Let me see. How to trim a brisket? Okay. He probably. He is live streaming tomorrow. Okay, so we'll run our live stream up to his then tomorrow. Okay.
And I have tried civil.
No, it's today. Oh, okay. Well, we'll go until we'll try to go until 2, and then we'll send a raid to BBQ.
Cases all over.
Oh, okay, okay. Got it. BBQ today. Yeah, I normally think you live stream on Sundays, right? Kaiser Geezer, yeah. Kaiser Geezer, yeah. Very funny. Yeah. I got BBQ. We'll send you the raid today. Yeah. I'm making brisket. Yeah, I saw this. How to trim and season a brisket. BBQ expanding his reach.
The country. Let's get into it. And we have a new way you can support the channel.
Oh, yeah.
We have partnered with a company called Small Beans to make some interesting stickers that you can put on a thermos, a water bottle.
Yeah, shout out to Alex. I'm just going to take this segment, and I don't want to make, and I'm just going to play in my video too.
A laptop, and we're just starting to build it out. But for now, we've got some interesting ones. We've got one with our logo. It says the Barbecue Council. And then we've got some Reckless Ben Lego scandal related ones, brick by brick. We are working on some others, but if you get a few seconds and you want to help support the channel, please click on the link below and buy some stickers. Thanks so much. This comes courtesy of, I believe, the Chris Reports Things Sometimes channel. So if you have not already, please go check out their channel and subscribe to it. They do some amazing.
Yeah. So interesting enough, I didn't know this was Chris. This is the guy who owns a Proton. So you learn something new every day. This is so this channel, who's been posting these videos, right? Very interesting videos, of course. He actually has the Proton. So this is actually Chris. So we used this before, but I thought it was just kind of a random person or something like that. But no, he has a YouTube channel. So let's give him a little bit of love. So yeah, that's him. So it's one dude, it's surprising, how much one person can really do on this type of case. Yeah, it's kind of surprising. Yeah, it's him.
Amazing investigative journalism, and they deserve to get the credit. Okay, so on the screen here, we have the entire report from the Keyser Police Department. I am not going to cover all of this because it is 34 pages long. I'm going to cover what I think are the most damning admissions, the biggest bombshell reveals from this document. I'm going to assume that many of you already know most of the underlying facts. If you do not, if you're coming into this case cold, please check out my playlist of the Reckless Ben saga. You will get the full details, the full background, all the tea up to this point through my previous videos. Let's start the first report here, December 30th, 2024. This is the very first document in the file, and it involves the police speaking with Brian Mansell. So Brian Mansell recounts the agreement between himself.
Oh, before I forget, I have not seen this yet because I was there was birthday, so I was celebrating daughter's birthdays. But Ben has an update, and I heard it's really good. So Ben has an update on their first conversation with Brian Mansell. Right here. So I have not listened to the update yet, but this is how I'm kind of curious, the feedback here. I feel like we can talk about this now because there's a new update, and it was many days ago. But yeah, this was very interesting as well. A very interesting discussion that they had. This is when they reopened the case. So the first person was Jennifer. So you see Jennifer here. Jennifer did not do a good job.
Self and Crystal Law, he mentions that after the business was transferred, he tried to contact Mr. Best to discuss the contract. But, and here's the important part, Mr. Best claimed to have no knowledge of it and insisted that Mr. Mansell's products were no longer in the store. If you've watched my previous videos, you know that this is an outright lie. If this is what Brandon Best actually said, it's a lie. He was in the room when Crystal...
I also, yeah, that's the new emoji, guys, for you being a member. I also think it's kind of interesting that, like, Brandon Best, he's had, like, very little heat on him, right? Josh Johnson was, like, you know, he had a lot of heat. Almond McNeff, even Matt McNeff, Kai McAllister. But, like, Brandon Best, there is a scenario where Brandon Best is just a villain, above all villains. That he's, like, telling Almond McNeff, hey, I'm a rescuer. I'm going to help these stores, get them in shape. And then literally he just steals their Legos and Almond doesn't know. Like, it's Brandon, like, if somebody told me, oh, there's free Pokemon cards and there's sealed products, you just got to bring a U-Haul in. Yeah, I would drive, like, 3 hours back and forth to go, you know, get your... So I think there is something here personal. Because if you listen to Almond McNeff describe, like, Last Relic, he actually wants to sell... Like, Almond McNeff makes money flipping these franchisees. He doesn't make money if, like, no one wants to buy it. So Josh Johnson and Brandon Best, they go to Last Relic. They say, hey, buddy, we're going to help you sign all these things. And then, like... Almond is thinking, oh, they're going to buy this from me and they're going to pay me $30,000. That's great. But then they're like, oh, well, we don't want to buy it. It's going to fail. And Almond's like, oh, I guess it failed. So, like, there is this scenario where Brandon Best is stealing Legos as a rescuer, right? And then saying, oh, I'm interested in buying this franchise, which would mean I had to pay you, Almond McNeff, $30,000 plus 10%. Like, Brandon looks like kind of that type of dude, right? Like, he doesn't look like a dude that you can trust. So we again, there's not that many pictures of Brandon. This is an interesting one here. Like, they made him, you know, yeah. So, like, he doesn't, like, look. He looks like kind of like a shady dude. He lives in a huge home. I really think that, like, people should look into Brandon more. I think there is a whole nother story to tell about Brandon, specifically about, like, what Last Relic said. The guy comes in and he just starts selling your Lego. Like, he starts shipping Legos to his store. Like, look, let me put it this way. If Brandon Best is an employee of corporate, I've never seen a motherfucking employee work this hard. And this is how, you know, I gauge things. Like, I've had employees before, and they just want to do their job and go home at 5 or 6. That's it. And that's okay. That's 95% of people, right? They're not going to give a shit about your company. I have never seen, so, like, out of talking about things I've never seen before, I've never seen an employee willing to rent a U-Haul, drive from here to there, take plane tickets, and, you know, and then now not only do you have one employee willing to do this, you have a second employee, Josh Johnson. So, like, why would they be so invested in helping corporate? Is kind of the question I have. Like, imagine an employee dropping at the middle of the night. Hey, employee. Like, if I asked any of my employees, they would say, oh, well, I want overtime. I want this. I want that. Because, like, it's in the middle of the night. I'm asking you to drive a U-Haul, kick out a woman who owns the store. Why would you want to, like, that's your job? Like, No, like, hey, my job ends at 6. I'm gone. Right? Like, or in Last Relic's story, it looks like he stayed there for a bit of time. So he was like, he had to rent a hotel, a motel. Like, have you ever seen an employee so driven as Brandon Best? That he's willing to take a U-Haul back and forth, find storage, leave review. Like, this doesn't seem, but yes, that's what I'm saying. Like, even if you're corporate, I've never seen a corporate employee work so hard in their whole life. I've never seen a corporate employee care that much. Most people go to work, do their work, and go home. They're not going to hop on a plane in the middle of the night, rent a U-Haul, like, and then like drive back to their, like, you know, it doesn't make any sense. It doesn't make any sense from Brandon Best. Like, what is Amon McNeff paying Brandon Best that he would do this? Like, for instance, if I had an employer and they were like, hey, I want you to do that, I would say no. I don't want to drive a U-Haul for 3 hours in the middle of the night. That doesn't sound like a lot of fun. Like, you know, like, come on, like, what type of job would tell you, hey, you need to bring a U-Haul and drive it until, like, the middle of the night? No, I'm dead serious here. Like, yeah, you couldn't pay me enough money to do it. Like, what are they doing? Like, no, seriously, like, tell me an employee of, let's say I have an employee at McDonald's, okay? And McDonald's employee, the new Pokemon shipments come out. I need you to drive, 3 hours and then come back? And then I need you to find storage to put the Pokemon cards in? Fuck, the employee's like, no, man, I'm here to flip burgers. Right? I mean, I don't know if you can give me any company, like Starbucks, like where the employee would do this for their employer. Unless they had benefit to themselves. That's why I think there is a story to tell where maybe Brandon Best didn't tell Amon McNeff he was going to steal the stuff. And he just stole it and he got really excited. You know, like a Pokemon scalper. I just cannot imagine that an employee would do this. Like, you know, it's kind of crazy. Like, I think about my own employees that I had, and I was like, dude, getting them to even pick up, like, the company food, which I paid for, is hard enough. But, like, if I had to say, oh, well, guess what, employee? It's the middle of the night. I need you to kick out this woman. Again, he's driving back and forth. I need you to bring the U-Haul around. And remember, according to Amon McNeff, there was no U-Haul. Yeah, Goosey said, if my job told me to hop on a boat and head to a rig in the Gulf, I'd tell them to kick my ass. Yeah, it's just not something that you would see an employee do. Right?
Crystal Law told him about the consignment and that there were pieces in the store belonging to Brian. If you've watched the CoffeeZilla video, you also know that they didn't look in the safe where the most valuable pieces of Brian Manzel's collection were stored. So the police officer then speaks to Brandon Best, who mentioned that he believed the contract was with Crystal Law and not the company itself. Anyone who's seen the contract knows that it was a contract between Crystal Law's Bricks and Minifigs company, her LLC, and Brian Manzel. And as I've discussed in a previous video, when corporate took over the store and took over the operation.
Yeah, thank you, John Dickens. Brandon and Josh look like Ren and Skippy.
Of the store from Crystal Law's company, corporate takes on the assets and the obligations of that store. So the police officer then speaks with Crystal Law and he asked Ms. Law if the company allowed consignment. She replied that there were no explicit rules against them and mentioned that she had discussed this with corporate who had given her the green light. There are two things to unpack here. First, her franchise agreement with corporate explicitly allowed consignment. So she's a little off, but she's off in her favor because there are explicit rules allowing consignment. Now, the fact that she says she mentioned she had discussed with...
So this consignment thing is very confusing because there's multiple contracts. Like, you know, depending on when you signed up to be a franchisee, you are all on different versions of the contract. Which is crazy. Like, you know, like you should have only have one contract for every franchisee, no matter when they signed up for. But again, this is a Billy, you don't have to donate more, Billy. But thank you for the $9.99. I have believed that since the beginning, that Brandon went off the reservation, stole the collection under the nose of his lifelong friend, Amin. Amin backed these guys not knowing about the theft. Yes, I think that would make sense. So, like, if you're thinking best outcome for Amin that makes him look the best, it would be like if he didn't know Brandon Best was stealing the Legos. And he didn't know that there were Legos missing because he didn't think that Brandon would steal the Legos. He just thought that Chris Law was doing a bad job of inventory and so on. And then he also didn't know about the U-Haul because why would you have a U-Haul unless you were there to steal the Legos? So I think there does, if Amin was smart, which he's not, I think he could pin it all on Brandon Best and Josh Johnson. And I think the story would go something like this. Chris Law was going to go to a different country. We were very worried about some of the things happening there. So I sent Brandon Best to terminate the agreement. And that's all I did. So Brandon Best does not need a U-Haul. He can drive a truck or a sedan or something, obviously more reasonable than a U-Haul. He doesn't need U-Haul storage. He doesn't need any of this stuff, right? And I'm surprised that he actually has a U-Haul. I'm like, okay, that's very weird. Oh, thank you, BBQ. Super chat donation to start our investment fund to buy a BAM store together. You want to buy the one in Northern Raleigh? I think that one, I love that employee. I love that BAM manager. Imagine buying that BAM store where they steal from like kids. But thank you. I'll keep it in the fund. So there is some type of scenario where maybe Amin McNeff doesn't actually know Brandon Best just goes to places to steal. Oh, okay. We'll put your $2, Rose, towards the BAM store. Okay, Monkey. Okay, $10. Okay, yes. We'll have a chart. We'll keep a chart of the donations, and maybe one day we'll be able to buy. The other one, 185 is not bad, but you have to buy the property, which sucks. And you're in Utah, so how's that going to go, right? But the California one's not. If you can get the California one, if you can get it to 100,000, I think it's worth buying because it is such a good location in near Legoland. But then, why would I buy it, right? Why don't I just make my own bricks and minifigs near, even closer to Legoland? Yeah, right?
This with corporate, I am hoping that would have occurred in a written format, like via email, or I believe Bricks and Minifigs maintains a Slack account for messaging. I hope that was done in one of those ways and that those messages were still retained.
The Slack account.
If so, I really hope Reckless Ben's team.
Oh, Alex, are you near Carlsbad? I know Alex is in California. If he's near Carlsbad, I would love to. These owners obviously don't want their bricks and minifigs anymore. They have a fascinating story. One day we'll have enough. I think with this $5, we're over the top now. We should be able to afford one right now. Yeah, BBQ. Thank you for the $5. Actually, it was kind of interesting. Maybe you can get into one of these really cheap right now because obviously they're at all-time lows, right? So maybe you can negotiate, and they just kind of want to get out.
Team requests that in discovery. Ms. Law noted that when corporate took over the store from her, she brought up Mr. Mansell's collection.
Oh, thank you, Goosey. Open one in Goose Creek for obvious reasons.
That's true. That's corroborated by the security cam footage that we've played on the channel multiple times. She also says that they assured her they would handle it. That is also accurate. So right now, just on the first page of this document, we have Crystal Law saying things to the police that are corroborated by the hard evidence, and we have things that...
Yeah, so this is why, we have criticized Chris Law before, but I think overall, her story is the same, right? And you can't say that about Brandon Best or Josh Johnson. You definitely can't say that about Almond McNeff or even Matt McNeff. No, none of their stories change almost like every 2 minutes. So again, if you are telling the truth, typically speaking, your story is going to be the same because it's easy to remember because it actually happened. But when you're lying, that's when you don't really know what you're talking about. You don't remember what you just said. Thank you for the $20 Dream Signal. For the store or some Taco Bell. I think we have reached we've reached an amount where we can negotiate. We can negotiate. No, I'm Kevin. I'm joking. We're not buying a store, Kevin. It's a joke. It's a joke. There's no even for $0. There's no advantage in owning a bricks. This is what I'm gonna say. There's no advantage in owning a bricks and minifigs. Oh, interesting. Okay? That's text. A text from a current franchisee. You should have Alex or someone contact BAM about opening a new store. That would be some funny content. That would be funny. That's good. That's good. But we laugh and we laugh. Okay. We laugh and we talk about this, but there are people suffering. There are people in this liability right now, and they're just thinking how do I get out? One way to get out is if you can find a buyer, but who's really going to buy this stuff? Right? Who's going to buy your franchise for what you paid for it? It's just one of these scenarios where I do feel bad for these individuals because one of them just contacted me now, franchisee. I just think if that was me, my family, they all have families, right? What would we do? We would be I don't know. What would you guys do? If you were to give advice to and again, not to be snarky or not bad advice, right? I'm talking about actual real life. Okay, let's all imagine that we are a franchisee. We're kind of stuck in this bad scenario. What can we do? Right? Outside of finding outside of finding someone to buy our franchise, we're kind of stuck.
Things that Brandon Best said to the police, which are contradicted by the hard evidence. I'm blowing up my full face because this is really important. As an attorney, I would like to get any and all recordings that these police officers had with Brandon Best because they will be useful, incredibly useful.
Yeah. Remember we got the Josh Johnson recordings and they were really, really bad? He's got barefoot. Yes, if they have recordings of Brandon Best, that would be mind-blowing. So imagine Josh Johnson and his recordings times 2 with a different guy called Brandon Best. That would be wild. It would be wild to see Brandon Best's recordings.
In a deposition or a trial to contradict Brandon Best, to eviscerate his credibility. We're just on page 1 of this document, and already Brandon Best has lied.
Hey, shout out to Don't F with Justice. That's what I said too. I want to hear the 911 calls of Brandon worse because he wanted telephonic harassment charge. Yeah, I think the one key component right now that no one really talks about is Brandon Best. You guys realize he owns a store in Eugene, not Josh Johnson. He's the one driving the U-Haul. He's the one with so again, I know Josh Johnson is a very intriguing character in this, but perhaps Brandon Best is Josh Johnson, but worse.
Lied to the police. And impacting his credibility is critical because a lot of this is a he said, she said thing. Being able to go after the credibility of the bricks and minifigs witnesses is really important in this case. So turning back to the document, she talks about something that's really important here. She says she placed tags, so tags and yellow stickers. So white tags were placed on the minifigs to show that they belong to Brian Mansell, and yellow stickers were placed on the boxes to show that those sets belonged to Mr. Mansell. And we're going to see that a few times. So remember, if you see white tags or yellow stickers, you know that that is a set or a minifig that belonged to Brian Mansell. The police says he found that Ms. Law purchased the franchise unit, assumed all responsibilities, and that corporate eventually terminated the franchise agreement and took over the store, seizing all assets and forfeiture. This is another critical point because corporate took over the store. That phrase is very important because it implies that they took over the consignment agreement. They took on all the assets and all the obligations. They became what the law calls a successor in interest. They carried on the operation.
And this is kind of what I'm thinking about this, because like what happened in Last Relic, this works. So Brandon Best, Josh Johnson, they go to a store, they strip you of all the inventory, then they say, oh, we don't want it anymore. And then it's up to Last Relic to pay off the rent and so on. So I'm thinking like this is something, this would only work if there was no consignment, no third parties. So I'm wondering, like, you know, and this is why I think there's a pattern of abuse here. Maybe there are many other victims of Josh and Brandon. And the only reason we know about this one, the one thing that makes this unique is the assignment was stolen. The consignment. But the other stores didn't have consignment. So you can just take their Legos willy-nilly. But Josh Johnson and Brandon Best, they didn't really know the extent of a consignment. Oh, thank you for the $2 Fly, Chomper Fly. Keep asking people what is a typical franchise contract. It's a typical franchise contract. Probably the gold standard would be McDonald's.
Operations of the store, which means they succeeded to that consignment agreement whether they wanted to or not. The next document I want to talk about is a follow-up incident report dated May 1st, 2025. So we're now.
Mama D said BJC requested and department doesn't have or used by. Oh, okay, so no body cams. So we don't have the footage of Brandon Best lying because there's no body cams or recordings.
Now, a few months later on, and the officer spoke with Brian Mansell. He says he looked at photographs and noted multiple boxes of sets that had a round yellow sticker on the box. Remember, yellow stickers means Brian Mansell's. So what did the officer do? He called Mr. Best and asked him if he knew what happened to the inventory with the yellow stickers after the night Ms. Law was escorted from the building. He stated he was not sure what had happened. Well, that's not good. And added that he hadn't been in charge of the store until the end of March. But is that true? Employees said he was there the next day. So Mr. Best claimed that corporate had seized everything in the store when it was taken over. Again, this is an admission. Brandon Best is a party to the civil suit against Brian Mansell and Reckless Ben. So this statement contained in this police report is an admission and could come into evidence. Corporate seized everything. Corporate took over the business. They became a successor. They took on the consignment agreement whether they wanted to or not. But now note that Brendan Best's news story now is that he wasn't sure what happened to everything. He's already starting to contradict himself. Then the police officer gets a call from Joshua Johnson. Mr. Johnson told me that the business absorbs all inventory in the store once it's taken over. Yet another admission. Corporate took over everything. They took on the business. They succeeded to the business operation.
The reason that we're not going to have these franchise agreements is because they're very private. Normally, the way it works is you sign the NDA before you see the franchise agreement. So I don't know about McDonald's because it's so big that they might have a franchise agreement out there. But normally you sign an NDA. Yeah, this is McDonald's. For Latin, yeah, this is McDonald's. But McDonald's is so big, they probably don't give a shit. Yeah, so I think this is McDonald's. So for a company like Starbucks or McDonald's, they're probably like big enough that they don't care if their agreement gets there. But if you're a smaller, let's say Bricks and Minifigs, for instance, then yes, you probably would want, everyone would sign an NDA before they would be able to read. So we are in a very rare circumstance with Bricks and Minifigs because of the leaks that were happening. But yeah, McDonald's seems private. Hey, Sarah, McDonald's does seem private. Does seem
took
public.
On the consignment agreement. Mr. Johnson added that there were many items in the back of the store at the time. Many items. That completely contradicts corporate's statement. corporate statement was that there were few boxes in the store belonging to Mansell at the time. Even though they originally said they knew nothing about it, they later said, oh, it was just a little bit. Joshua Johnson admits that there were many. So Mr. Johnson added that a few of the items matched Mr. Mansell described as his, and those items were set aside. However, due to the claim that Mr. Mansell continues to call the business despite being told not to and encouraging others to do so as well, he does not want to give these items to Mr. Mansell. I'm surprised that the police didn't jump.
So, so he's like, yes, do you own items that Brian Mansell? Yes. Why didn't you give him his items back? Because he keeps calling me. And I don't want him to call me anymore. That doesn't seem like an appropriate response, right? So if you already have items that you have identified as Brian Mansell's item. Oh, Welp, hi, bye. Thank you for the $4.99. One thing that would be interesting is subpoena message. Yes, you would get those. You would 100% get them between Amin, Josh, and Brandon prior to the takeover of Kaiser's store. Yeah, Discovery, if they ever get to Discovery, maybe they're settling. There are rumors that both Reckless Ben and Brian Mansell, specifically Brian Mansell, will probably want to settle before Discovery. But it will be interesting because Chris Law, there was another lawsuit going on. It's Chris Law versus Bricks and Minifigs. That stuff seems pretty relevant to her as well. So even if these lawsuits settle, I don't think Chris Law is going to settle. I think Chris is going to fight because again, that's a whole different thing. They took our franchise, so I would not be surprised if Brian Mansell settled before Discovery. I don't know if they want to settle Reckless Ben, but I would not be surprised at all if it's Chris. Oh, Chris is here. Yeah, Chris is here. So I think we're going to get to Discovery anyway because of Chris, right? I think that makes sense. Regardless of whether or not this settles, I think there is a high chance that Brian Mansell settles. I don't really know what's going on with Reckless Ben, but there's probably like a 50-50. But I don't think Chris Law is going to settle with them. I don't think they're going to settle with her. I think the distance between them is so large that, they took Chris Law. Actually, we have some good news for Chris. We have so part of what C needs to know is how much is my franchise worth, right? The same thing with Last Relic. We had videos, so we have some interesting proof for you. Yes, also defamation. Yes. Defaming her name. That's also. But when they took over your franchise, they actually owe you money. So your franchise isn't just oh, I have so many Lego sets, right? It's the furniture, it's the work you put into it, it's the community. So then it's the question is, how can you identify what my franchise is worth? Well, if I were Chris Law or her lawyers, I would start screaming.
Today we are.
I would go to this website here, Franchise Flippers, and the one in Utah really doesn't make sense because that comes with property, so I would get rid of. And then I would screenshot this because at the low end, and this is one that's not doing really well, right? At the low end, your franchise is probably worth at least $200K, and that would be okay, good. I've seen the pricing for the ones currently for sale. Our attorneys has those numbers. That's on the low end, right? So even if you say 200, those are your damages, right? So it's interesting. Chris Gorman, I hope you can connect with Clutch Power Pod because he used his Emmy-nominated skills to research and has stuff that could help. Yeah. Okay, but it's Tacoma. How bad is Tacoma, guys? No, I'm saying worst case example. It's got to be at least worth $200K, right? So if they take over your store, regardless, obviously you have inventory that counts. You have goodwill. You have your furniture. You have trained employees. You have staff, right? It's got to be worth something, and I think it's like north of 2K. Like 2K, I'm giving a conservative estimate because, again, that I think that's what the market would bear currently. Now, before reckless ban, probably more than 200K.
Didn't jump on this more because here Mansell is claiming to be wrong. He's claiming that you've stolen my property. So he's going to the business to try to get his property back. And the business is telling him, leave us alone. And then Joshua Johnson admits, well, because he's bugging me to give his property back, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah. That's such a bad reason not to give the property back. I've identified things that are yours, but because you keep calling me, I'm not going to give them to you. Ha ha ha. That's like classic bully in the schoolyard behavior. Like, he steals your like lunch, and then you ask him for your lunch back, and then he says, because you asked me for your lunch back, I'm not going to give it to you.
Well, I'm surprised that the police didn't jump on this. That doesn't sound to me like a civil dispute. That sounds to me like an admission by Joshua Johnson of intentional wrongdoing. Let's talk about the civil case. Joshua Johnson admits he had pieces belonging to Mansell and admits that he just doesn't want to return them because Mansell was irritating him with calls. That's an admission of intentional wrongdoing. That's willful and malicious behavior at that. If I was Brian Mansell, I would bring a counterclaim for intentional conversion of Mansell's property, which means you don't just get compensatory damages at that point, you get punitive damages. Punitive damages are huge. They will vastly inflate the value of Brian Mansell's counterclaims against Bricks and Minifigs and Joshua Johnson because they're just intentionally keeping his property away from him at that point. So real bad admission by Josh Johnson here. So Josh Johnson adds he just doesn't feel that he needs to since the store's inventory became his once he took it over. Well, I'm sorry, Joshua Johnson. But if something's in the store that isn't yours, it doesn't just become yours because you buy the property. You can take over the store, you can buy the store, but everything inside the store, if it didn't belong to them, they can't give it to you.
Okay, correct,
so it's ridiculous.
So a good example of this, if I buy a franchise from a franchisee right now, they signed a contract with the lease. Let's say they have a lease for 10 years. I have to honor their lease. I can't just be like, all right, I bought the franchise, I'm out. Peace out. I'm gonna go to the next mall across. No. It's a the transfer of the contract goes to you. And this is like really obvious, right? So if I go buy the Tacoma franchise and they sign a 5-year lease for $6,000 a month, I am also taking over the lease, which is a liability. Because I would rather have my store like somewhere else, right? So again, this is part of what happens. So like, it's no different. So corporate taking over the franchisee is really not that dissimilar from me just buying the franchisee out. We both have to take over responsibilities of the liabilities. So the contract will transfer to me now. Or the contract stays with the LLC company, which is now mine. So I would be buying the LLC, and so it's very interesting that it's very interesting that they would try to get around this because it's something like super obvious.
Okay, so the next document I want to cover is now a December 23rd, 2025 supplemental incident report. Fast forward to another conversation. Best reports that he is not sure what happened to everything, as there'd been another manager until the end of March. So wait, what is it? Did he deny knowledge of the contract? Is it that the items are no longer in the store, or it's that he's not sure of what happened? Either way, Best admits the corporate seized everything. Josh Joshua then reports the business absorbed all the inventory in the store and that there were many items in the store. So Joshua Johnson and Brandon Best have two very different stories about what happened, and that's a problem for them. Then there is a video. So a video that was provided to the police. It appears to be a video of a parking lot meetup between Crystal Law and Brian Mansell, and they had many things to say in this video. Again, if I was the defense team on the civil case, I would be trying to get this video. The first thing that I think is really important here, as Crystal Law and Brian Mansell are talking, someone acknowledges, someone within the group said that the stickers had since been removed. So someone had removed the stickers and price stickers were applied to the boxes. So is this a true statement? Well, we're going to get some corroboration of this. It's really a huge problem for Bricks and Minifigs. So Crystal Law acknowledges there are 4 staff members at the store that could confirm how she marked the item. So maybe some of those staff members will have something to say. We'll see. Crystal Law explained that they put white tags on minifigures and yellow stickers on sets. So again, further confirmation and corroboration of how Brian Mansell's pieces were being tracked. The group then discussed someone going into the store and making a video of items. One person said they went into the store and got the staff to admit there was a collection. But when asked about layaway, the staff stops talking and the person left. So they sent a friend in. The friend tried to talk to employees. The employees admitted that there was a collection, even though Brandon Best said that they weren't aware of a collection. Crystal Law talks about having a camera that was not discovered until the following Thursday and did not believe any items left the store. So again, if she's got that camera footage, if I was Brian Mansell's defense team, I would subpoena Crystal Law for that camera footage. Crystal Law says she knew Brandon Best stayed in the store for 2 hours and then left. What was Brandon Best doing for 2 hours in the store after?
Oh, I can only imagine what Brandon Best was doing for 2 hours, you know, like, yeah, that's, and I think what has to be noted here is like Chris didn't ask, Chris says, I have video of that night and Brandon, so does Brian. We both individually recorded it. I think it's very bizarre, right? Because like, it does seem like Brandon is like really like interested. Like how much, like whenever Amon McNeff wants to be involved, he calls Josh Johnson, right? I wonder if Brandon Best is working with Josh Johnson to do this without Amon really knowing what's going on. Because like, here's what's happening. If they come in and they go to the Salem location and they strip it out of all of its assets, the biggest assets possible. They take all the Legos. They try to get Chris to sign, like, hey, your store is worth $0, right? Whatever money Chris put into the store, whatever time, whatever effort, that's all worth zero now. Because we have all these fines and things of this nature. These questionable fines, if you will. Amon still wants the Lego to be in the store because then he can sell it to the next guy. Like, you have to understand, like, it's not in Amon McNeff's incentive for Brandon to take the Legos out of the store. Like, the same thing that happened in Last Relic. It's not there's no incentive for Amon McNeff because Amon McNeff wants to sell the store to somebody else. Because that's how he gets his $30,000. Right? So, like, I don't really see, like, what the benefit of him, unless you think that he was also stealing the Legos and so on, he was in on it. But, like, let's just say corporate is corporate. Well, even if they were stealing the Legos, and why split it with Brent? Like, why not just have all the Legos in the store? And that would make it a lot easier to get the new franchisee in. It would be a hell lot easier to sell the store if they had Legos in the store. And then you could give them a tour of it, and then you're like, wow, look at all these Legos we have. Like, I really don't see the purpose from Amon's perspective of, like, why would we need to move the Legos to Brandon's store when we're actively trying to sell this, right? It's a little strange. I think it's a little strange.
After he kicked Crystal Law out, Mansell said by the time he got to the store, the shelves were pretty much clear. So there was a lot of his product that night, and then by the time he got there, some days or a couple weeks later, the shelves were clear. Let's jump down now to an interview that the police had with Brian Mansell in December of 2025. He said that around November 15th of 2024, he called in Crystal Law to get his monthly check, but she was not responding. After several days, he called the store and was told she was no longer with the company. He spoke with a manager and told him that his collection was stocking half the store. He said the manager told him he had never heard anything about this. But they had heard about it. Corporate knew about it. And this manager asked him to come in with an inventory list. So he went into the store and guess who's there? Brandon Best. So wait a second. Was the manager Brandon Best? If so, Brandon Best just, again, another lie. So he gave Best a copy of the inventory, a copy of the contract, and showed him his identification to prove who he was. And Sale said while Best was viewing the videos, Best commented, "Oh, is that Crystal Law?" Going on to say that he had never actually met her before. What? That's crazy. Why even lie about that? You're
No. Here, I can tell you why they're lying. I can actually tell you because this is very common behavior. So he doesn't know Chris has camera footage. So, like, imagine a scenario where Chris doesn't have that camera footage of Brandon Best, Kai McAllister. Like that specific camera footage where like Chris is saying, well, what about Brian? And he's like, well, we don't care. We'll handle it. The store took over the store. We'll handle it. I think a lot of this, remember, like this is in the past. This is before Reckless Ben. This is before any of this stuff happening, right? I think that it's almost like before when Amin was talking about the U-Haul, he was so certain there was no U-Haul, and then you show him a picture of the U-Haul, then it's the same thing, right? Where like they're going to lie to you. Oh, thank you, Zane. They're going to lie to you unless like you catch them. And the same with the American Fork Police, right? We saw how they treated Tyler. They said, Tyler, you don't need to record. We're going to record for you. Mute. Again, we see that unless you have evidence yourself, what's going to happen more likely than not is they're going to lie. The police, the American Fork Police Department will lie. Mandinda Dorez will lie. Brandon Best will lie. So this just tells you how important it is that like you be careful if you are in a situation where it is a little bit like icky. You should start recording for yourself because like remember Tyler's situation. The police officer said, "Oh, don't worry, Tyler. I'm going to record for you." That was not true. He did not do that. So I think this is kind of a lesson to learn. It's like the reason Brandon Best feels so comfortable lying is he doesn't know Chris has access to that video. That's why. And it's a really easy explanation.
Caught on security footage standing next to her, Brandon Best. Why even lie about that? Best went on to tell Mansell that this was the first time he had heard of it. Also another lie. And that he did not know anything about the collection. Another lie. So what happened here is Brandon Best didn't know that he was on camera. This was some candid camera stuff going on. He didn't know he was caught on camera. And he was just lying.
Camera, yes, correct.
He was just lying to Brian, thinking he wouldn't get caught. Too bad. You did get caught. You got caught lying, Brandon Best. So far up to this point, Brandon Best has been the smartest person among the group because he hasn't gone on interviews. He hasn't been making all these recorded conversations to police. He hasn't been making up stuff. But here's where things take a sharp departure. He's been caught through these police statements. He's been caught lying multiple times. So in my earlier videos, I talked about Brandon Best maybe having the best credibility at trial just because he didn't have all these problems. That's now no longer the issue. You can't put Brandon Best up on the stand.
Yeah, the only reason we don't know much about Brandon Best is we haven't seen any video about him, but he's probably similar to a Josh Johnson character.
With this stuff, he's going to get eviscerated just like the rest of them. Bricks and Minifigs Corporate, they got no witnesses. And if I'm on the defense team reading this, I'm going to get bullish. I'm going to get aggressive with my counterclaims. I'm going to go after them. And I'm going to let them know they're going to be on the hook for punitive damages for this because they're in some serious problems. Once again, I would go to the police. I'd go wherever you can. I'd get all these recordings, body cam, recorded interviews, anything. I'd get it all. So let's jump back in. So Best told Mansell when they came in to seize the store, Law had ransacked it. She had ransacked it. Again, a total lie. You were caught on camera, dude. She recorded everything.
Again, he doesn't realize she caught him on camera. So he's making a story. I mean, like, she had no time to ransack it. She took a few pictures and then she got escorted. I mean, it's obviously on camera. So I think this is Brandon not realizing this whole thing has been recorded. And then he's trying to pin the blame on Chris Law. But little does he know, Chris actually has a recording from the Ring camera, which actually has audio.
Everything. The security camera recorded things. She didn't ransack anything. She was escorted out without anything in her hands. That's crazy. Mansell said that while he was talking to Brandon Best, he could see multiple sets that were his and pointed that out. Good night. Mansell was not allowed to look around the store or the storeroom to see if his sets were there. No transparency. Another really damning fact. He wanted to can we just go through and let's identify ones I think are mine. We can talk about it. No. And why? Well, we're going to get into the why because I think the employees dished the tea. Mansell told me he had a friend go into the store last December and purchase one of his sets. So he went in and he purchased one of his sets. took photos and recordings of the interaction. He said the clerk told his friend that they had a collection and that there had been a spreadsheet, but that they were under new management. She didn't know where the spreadsheet had gone. Yeah, I know you have my stuff because I sent someone in and had them buy my stuff from you. That's just wild. Mansell told me Johnson sent him messages about a month ago. Mansell said Johnson had told him it would cost him $70,000 to get the collection back civilly. So then he's got in the police report, they've got some copies of text messages and emails or whatever. So Johnson starts off saying, we can give you what was left when Crystal left. We can and aren't responsible for what she sold the 2 years you all were working together. If you want what she left, let me know. Well, that's not entirely correct. For anything that she had sold but hadn't yet paid out to him, they are on the hook for breach of contract because they took over the consignment agreement. And now as the new party to the consignment agreement, they're the ones that are in breach for failing to pay her. Also, they seized all of her store's assets. So how is she supposed to pay them? Her LLC was gutted. So next, Mansell says, okay, well, can you send photos of everything you still have in the store? And we're also going to need a copy of the completed store inventory list when it was seized to determine what sets you have sold. Now Johnson says there were a couple sets. Remember before Johnson had told the police there were many sets. Now it's just a couple. So shifting story. Johnson says, I'm not doing this to open a door for you to criticize us or find fault. We have some sets with stickers on them. That's all we could identify as yours. And so Mansell then repeats his request. Please send photos. Send us photos of what you have so we can figure out what's going on. And Johnson says, I don't have an inventory list. Now that's interesting because when Reckless Ben met with Ammon McNeff said he did have an inventory list and he would send it. And then Ammon didn't send it. And now Josh Johnson's saying he doesn't have an inventory.
I really wonder, if you had to attribute fault, right? What percentage would you give Josh Johnson? What percentage you would give Ammon McNeff? What percentage you would give Matt McNeff? What percentage you would give Brandon Best? Because I think each of them, their personalities are very bad. They're not really customer friendly. I don't see them working in any customer service. This is like really bizarre behavior to treat Brian Mansell this way. I'm just trying to figure out, is there a scenario where, it's Brandon Best and Josh Johnson that are 50%, over 50% responsible for this disaster? Or is Ammon McNeff always above that, right? Like in negligence and tort, you're always trying to figure out percentages of responsibility. So if you get in a massive car accident, you get hit from multiple sides, they're going to try to figure out, okay, this car came from you this side, they're responsible for 25% damage, you personally are responsible for 50%, and the other dude's responsible for 20, or you're responsible for 49, and the other dude's responsible for 26. So if you've ever been in a car accident, a multi-collision car accident before, you know they're trying to split responsibility, because then that's how much each individual or each company owes. I wonder if, Ammon McNeff is always going to be at 51%, or is there a version of this story where he's not a 51% responsible?
Have an inventory list. They can't keep the story straight. But here's the catcher. In return for a signed document from our legal team that you signed acknowledging we are not responsible in any way for your agreement with Crystal, and that you will take down all negative comments and stop disparaging us, that's the only time we will give you back your set. So what they're trying to do, look
at this former apology from you to all members of our team. That's exactly what they tried to make Reckless Ben do. Remember, Reckless Ben had to apologize. Brian Mansell had to apologize to Brandon Best. They'd use the AI, and he was like, "Oh, that's not enough. You Reckless Ben, need to apologize to Amanda
for any remaining losses on your end must be directed to Crystal Law." So what they're doing here is they know they're screwed. They know this. Again, this is my interpretation as an attorney. They know they're screwed. They know that they're on the hook. They know that they if this goes to a fight, they're going to lose. And so they're trying to extract an agreement from Brian Mansell. Yeah, we will give you your sets back, but only if you promise to hold us harmless. That would be the only way that they could get out of liability. If Brian Mansell's
Yes, so they're saying, hey, we do have your sets, some of them, not all of them, and we won't give them back to you until you sign a contract with us.
We used to hold them harmless, then he couldn't go after them. And they know that. And so that's what the strategy is here. But here's the big problem. When Ammon McNeff is talking about extortion in his previous videos, this looks a lot more like extortion to me because Josh Johnson already told the police that he just doesn't want to give the sets back. And now he's like, yeah, I've got your sets. I know they belong to you, but I'm going to hold them hostage in exchange from extracting an agreement from you that you will hold us harmless for damages. That sounds a lot more like extortion to me. So next, they've got a February 5th Brandon Best interview.
Oh,
so
no.
Best stated that Law briefly mentioned a consignment arrangement. So it went from, I don't know who you're talking about, I've never met Crystal Law, to, oh yeah, Crystal Law, I have met her. And it went from, I don't know anything about a consignment agreement to, oh yeah, she did mention a consignment agreement, but didn't mention the names of those involved. Yeah, right. Best informed her that consignments were not permitted under ban policy. A lie. If you go and watch the security cam footage, Crystal Law is talking about the consignment.
Again, I don't think he realizes she had this footage until like she told him she has the footage. And then his story starts changing a lot. Here you can see the U-Haul. The U-Haul is right here. It's kind of blurry from this image, but like CoffeeZilla has a better image of it.
Consignment. Ty McAllister says Brandon Best will take that on, and Brandon Best says nothing. He says nothing. Brandon Best, he said,
Saganzi662, thank you for the €10, £10. Okay, wow. The problem with a franchise with a set territory, after a couple years, you bled the area dry of historical sets. JJ and BB get extra territory to get new... yeah. No, this is exactly their problem. Actually, we found out so in Utah, there's this franchisee that has has been there since 2016, and his main problem is he can't get more territory. The main problem of him running his business is he cannot expand. So yeah, that is the problem of the franchise set territory, is by the time that you are, let's say you're 10 years in, just like that, you've already extracted all the good deals you could extract, right? So where are you going to get more of these deals? You can't expand because there's another Bricks and Minifigs in the territory above you and the west, the east, so one of the problems in the franchise in this particular model that wouldn't matter for McDonald's. McDonald's, everyone got hungry, time to eat a burger, I'm getting hungry now. This is about the time my brain kind of shuts off and I want to eat some food. And the McDonald's franchise model, it doesn't really matter because you're just buying the McDonald's. But in the Bricks and Minifigs models where you have retired sets, these retired sets are being sold for 20% or less. We've read time and time again about these lowballers, right? We had a review where somebody had $400 to $500 a set that he purchased. He wasn't expecting to get a lot of money, right? But they offered him $20. And then he said, okay, maybe I need to build them. And then he built them all to make sure they're complete. And then they offered him $80 for Taco Bell. So yes, that is one of the biggest weaknesses in the franchise model when you're Bricks and Minifigs. Eventually, you run out of old customers selling their retired sets because your range is gone. It's gone, right? So you need to expand, or I guess whatever, rescue new stores. It's a very bad business model for so many different reasons. But like I said, I think the one reason that I think is a terrible business model is in Houston alone. So I can't speak to every city, but I can speak to Houston because I've looked into Houston a bit. There's just too many of them. Oh, there's another Lego store here? Yeah, there's a Lego store here. Right next to Bricks and Minifigs League City. Pasadena just opened. What is this one? Heights? Okay, so there's Heights. There's another Lego store here. Okay, oh yeah, and there's going to be one right here, Memorial. The problem really is, you're trying to find people with old sets, the elderly, that, will come in and sell it to you, and then you can flip it for money. Because Toy House, Bricks and Minifigs distribution, it's not doing it. It's 10, 15, 20%. You can get way more margins buying used or new in box and then reselling them.
Said he asked both employees whether any consignment arrangements existed, and both said none did. Best told me he had the names of the employees, but would not disclose it to me. Oh yeah, I have employees that can corroborate what happened, but I'm not going to tell you who they are. Why do you think that is?
Why does Redhead Pride not have his, hold on. Why do you not have your mod thing on? Someone, like, unmod you? Oh, that's weird.
Maybe because it would be bad news. Like, he doesn't want the police talking to the employees. Well, the police did find out who the employees are and did talk to them. So we'll get into that. Best thought Law had put Mansell up to this to try to rob the store. Oh, come on. Really? Wow. So Brandon Best told the police that he thought Crystal Law had put Mansell up to this to try to rob the store because Best...
Oh my God, because Brian Mansell certainly looks like he can rob the store. Come on, man. Like, Brian Mansell is again, not making fun of Brian Mansell, but like, he's probably one of the least likely people to rob a store. Okay, so it was a team of Chris Law saying, Brian Mansell, you have to rob the store with Brandon Best and Josh Johnson in it.
Best advised that Mansell later produced a written contract with Law. Best described the document as poorly formatted and irregular. So none of that's true. Brian Mansell had an attorney draft up that contract. I have read the contract. It looks just fine. It's not poorly formatted. It's not irregular. It's pretty normal.
If I'm in agreement and I cannot expand, can you open a non-franchise store in another country? Yeah, you can always open a new store as long as it's not franchise. Yeah. Technically, I would have to look at the NDA to see. Or not. I would have to look at the contract to see. That's an interesting question. I don't know.
I really hope that this was captured on body cam or some other kind of recording, because all of this becomes evidence. The defense needs to get this stuff into their hands so that they can use it in Brandon Best's deposition and just blow them apart with this insanity. So now we've got an interview with Kai McAllister and Matthew McNeff.
Oh, no.
So McNeff says they were not aware of the agreements Law had made. Again, but McAllister's in the room. McAllister was on the phone that night and he's in the room in this interview. He knows that they talked to him about that.
This is passing the buck, okay? This is the same thing McNeff is going to say about that Paul guy. Remember, like, they had this distribution issue and they hired Paul, and now there's got to be somebody to take the fall, man, right? Like, Kai McAllister, I think, is a fall person. He's, like, 23 years old. He should not be, like, doing this. He doesn't have the experience. He does not have the experience, either legally or business sense, to terminate a franchisee. I don't know if this is the first time he's done it, but he seems very naive and very, very, again, talking to Crystal instead of working with Chris. You know, like, having sympathy. This seems like the literal worst guy to have your franchise terminated by. Just like Paul. People think, oh, don't make fun of Paul. No, his resume sucks. If I could find Kai McAllister's resume, I bet you it sucks. I bet you, if I looked at Kai McAllister's LinkedIn, which is now deleted, does anyone have a copy of Kai McAllister's LinkedIn or no? Let me look at their subreddit. I bet you he is completely unqualified to terminate somebody in that position. Kai McAllister. I'm not going to spell it right. Yeah, so this is... Oh, here we go. Yeah, here we go. Good friend Kai McAllister. Oh, yeah. So he's... Yeah, dude, we're in 2026. His first school certification was in 2023. Look how young he looks, man. This guy is young.
Okay, y'all have...
And so what we did is...
Wait, he's been working there for 4 years? How old is this guy? He's the executive projects manager? Every 9 months he gets like a new title? Oh, no. No. Okay, I mean, it's so weird. He kind of looks a little like Tyler. Shout out to Tyler. Oh, here he is. The page does not exist anymore. All right, fair.
About that. So that's just crazy. Lies and deceptions and false statements everywhere. He said that Law may have mentioned, so McAllister says Law may have mentioned the consignment agreement in passing, but it was not clear what she was referring to. Well, if it wasn't clear, why didn't you ask a follow-up, Kai McAllister? The problem is that when she tried to
Yeah, if it's not clear, why don't you say I don't agree or something like that? No, it's like no, we got it. Get out. We got it.
explain to you, you cut her off and said, don't worry about that. You have nothing to do with that anymore. Brandon Best is going to take over all of that. It was not clear in passing what she was referring to because the franchise agreement prohibits consignment agreements. That's false. The franchise agreement explicitly permits consignment agreements. The number of times these people are just willing to lie to the police is wild. I'm just getting worked up. This is just crazy. McNeff says BAM took over the assets of the store. And another admission now from the COO himself. BAM took over the store's operations. Therefore, they are a successor to the consignment agreement. This is a police officer saying he asked Matt McNeff whether he had knowledge of items from Mansell's collection being in the store. He explained that he did not know what the current owner had done with items. Yeah, I don't know what. That's like the truest statement I've seen today. Now we get to it. Interview of blank. So who is blank? Blank,
who is blank?
Previously worked at the Bricks and Minifigs store while Crystal Law was the...
Oh no, it's Queen of Bricks. Queen of Bricks has been interviewed. It's got to be one of the two. Queen of Bricks?
owner and manager. One day she reported to work and Law was no longer present.
Oh, Chris says Brandon and Josh both own the Eugene store.
The new owner, Brandon Best, the one day she reported to work, Crystal Law wasn't there, but Brandon Best was there. So when Brandon Best says, oh yeah, I didn't know, he's like, I was like not the owner for a long time. He was there the next day. And this employee just confirmed. These employees are going to have so much crazy tea to dish out. So Brandon Best informed her that Law had been removed from the business. When asked about a large collection of Star Wars Lego sets, the employee stated that the collection was at the store, admitted it was there, though it had arrived prior to her employment. Okay. She said the Star Wars sets were generally more valuable than other merchandise. Ooh, is that motivation for making them vanish? The employee stated she observed some sets with colored stickers placed over the barcodes. She recalled numerous minifigures at the end of her employment under Best ownership. She and another employee were not paid for several months. Brandon Best comes in and suddenly the employees are not getting paid. The employee indicated she observed what she described as potentially shady behavior under Best management, but did not provide specific details beyond the payroll issue. So I don't know what else would be referred to. I would want to depose her. So let's get to the second employee. So employee number one has disclosed there were a lot of boxes, 25 to 35, 100 minifigs, a bunch of stuff. What does employee two have to say? Employee two confirms she is a former employee of the store and she worked there for approximately 3 years before being laid off approximately 1 to 2 months ago. So employee two stated she was originally hired under Crystal Law's tenureship. I asked employee two about her knowledge regarding the store coming into possession of numerous Star Wars Lego sets. Employee two believed the items were purchased by Law and heard that documents were allegedly forged under the Bricks and Minifigs name to establish a consignment type agreement. Okay, so the employee is saying, oh yeah, I heard about this agreement, but I heard it was forged. Well, let's get to the next section. Employee two did not have independent knowledge of the alleged forged documents and learned of the situation after Law left ownership and Best assumed control of the store. Employee two said Best vaguely informed her of what had occurred. So employee two, some interesting to you. Employee two didn't really know about the consignment agreement, but Brandon Best told her that it was all a forgery. That Brandon Best told her it was a lie, that it was a forgery. Don't pay attention to the consignment. It's a lie. Totally wild.
Oh.
So employee two stated,
This is Queen of Bricks. Employee one was the other woman who was competing against Queen of Bricks during Victor's video. This is Queen of Bricks.
the Star Wars Lego sets were marked with small yellow stickers on the bottom of the boxes and were entered into inventory under a specific Star Wars designation when sold. She indicated she was instructed to process them in this manner. Employee two estimated that at the time Law left ownership, there were over approximately 60 boxed Lego Star Wars sets remaining in the store bearing yellow stickers. She also estimated there were approximately 20 Star Wars minifigs marked with white tags. Here's the kicker. Employee two stated that after Best assumed ownership, some of the yellow stickers were removed from sets. She indicated this occurred immediately after Best took over operations. Employee two.
That's what he was doing those 2 hours. He was removing the stickers. So he didn't come out with the Lego sets. He was removing stickers.
Has just said the quiet part out loud. What everyone has been speculating may have happened, employee two has now just confirmed. She alleges that Brandon Best had the yellow stickers indicating Brian Mansell's ownership of a set removed to conceal and destroy evidence of his ownership. If that's true, this is some of the wildest revelations we've seen in a while in this case. Now, actual allegations that Brandon Best was responsible for concealing and destroying the evidence of Brian Mansell's ownership of sets. This is the end of the investigation. And how does this officer conclude? A damning summation. He says, it is clear from a review of this case, Mansell and Law entered into an agreement allowing Law to sell Lego sets under Mansell's ownership using her storefront. Documents provided indicated Law was active in selling Mansell's property and paying Mansell monthly. Law lost ownership of the store and control over Mansell's property when BAM franchise took over. The BAM storefront was taken over by Best & Johnson, and Best was present at the takeover of the store. Based on the evidence presented, it is clear that the BAM franchise and Best were informed of and aware of Mansell's property. BAM and Best were informed of and aware of Mansell's property.
So, okay, now we get back to, like, my thumbnail. I completely forgot. We were supposed to do something different today. Yeah, so my question to you is, why did the DA of Marion County District Attorney not pursue when you have evidence being destroyed? So, in case you guys don't know who I'm talking about, so in our thumbnail, we have 3 people, right? We have in my funny AI thumbnail that I made, we got, we got Amon McNeff, we got Reckless Ben, and we have this woman here. So this woman here is the Marion DA. So you have all this evidence being presented, and my question really was, okay, so the police have collected evidence. They have made a pretty compelling case, I would imagine, that it is criminal. They're literally destroying evidence, right? Why did she decide not to prosecute? Why did she decide it was not criminal and not to do it? So again, this is the woman who is the DA. So yes, a CMAD, exactly. This report shows malice. It is not a contract dispute. The DA's elected position and playing politics, but she's going to lose. So the question I've had is, why did she not pursue it, right? And again, I'm not saying like, hey, like you have to make a big. Why did she like? Why did this, like, you know, with all the things that BBQ has presented, the evidence being destroyed, malice. No, she's not Mormon. We're not in Mormon country right now. She's not Mormon. So let me repeat this again. She's not Mormon. So number one, they rejected it one time. Then they rejected it a second time. So this is the second time. And second time, they did a much better job getting evidence, okay? So again, this woman not only rejected it one time, she rejected it 2 times, which is weird. Marion County DA. Okay. District Attorney. Okay, so let's see. Is this her? Oh, Marion County. It's Marion County, Oregon. Yes, that is her. So this is the one. So like, the police can do the best job they can do. The police can give you a case on a platter, but if this woman here, Paige, does not actually decide, hey, I want to pursue it. So the people, like in terms of like contacting. So if you ever watched like a Jadion video, do you know Jadion? He hunts predators of children. He's always saying, contact the district attorney. Contact the district attorney. There's not anything the police department can do at this point in time. They did a okay investigation. Again, I think they did a fair investigation. CMAD says, I'm willing to bet the DA never reviewed the case. Monkey says, oh, her smile looks so evil. The DA might just not think it's worth her time. Each lawyer is different. I think, yeah, correct. Anyway, yeah, the person that can make these decisions isn't the police. You guys know? So, like, you can blame the police chief and this, but at the end of the day, they did, I mean, again, I think they did an okay job gathering the evidence, right? They got all this evidence. They did all the interviews. They did interviews with Brian Mansell. They did interviews with Chris Law. They did interviews with Brandon. They did interviews with Josh, right? And they found out, wow, Brandon and Josh are like serial liars. Oh my God, they did interviews with the employees, and the employees are saying, hey, Josh is literally like destroying evidence as we speak. And then the question really becomes like, okay, you have all this great stuff. Again, I'm not criticizing her. I don't know. Yeah, Colin says the cops made an amazing case. I think it was a good case. I think it's a case where you have to investigate. I mean, it's a case worth investigating, right? Like, oh, okay, there's all this stuff happening. I should investigate it. So then my question to her, right, is like, why did you, as an attorney, not investigate it? Right? Because we can complain all we want about the police, but it's not going to help, right? It's not going to help. Because at the end of the day, the buck stops with Paige, who's the DA. And that's my point. So that's kind of why we did a roundabout way to do it. I was going to do some investigations about Paige and all this good stuff. But yeah, it's what it is, right? I forgot. So yeah, that's her. That's her right there. It's like, she knew, Bricks and Minifigs, why no criminal charge? I mean, yeah. So let's see if BBQ is on right now. BBQ counselor. Okay, so shout out to BBQ for a great video. It was it's always easier. It's always easier. Oh, he's live. Is he live? No. Oh, he's doing this weird thing. I'll just wait until he goes live. But yeah, it's always kind of bizarre, right? Because like people can blame the police, but the police sometimes they do their job, and then like they give it to the DA, and the DA is just like, no, I don't want to do this, right? Oh, he's on. Okay, so raid setup. Okay, well, thumbs up.
To the barbecue.
Okay, so have a good raid. I am so hungry. I'm so fucking hungry. Okay, anyway, goodbye, guys.